there is so much going on right now. I mean, to me, Musk and Trump's the front man, but Musk is effectively, I mean, meaning with great effect, dismantling the federal government. It's an extraordinary thing to see. It's an extraordinary thing to see I'm going to say informally deputized guy, meaning he was not elected, he was not vetted, he was not brought into government at any official capacity. It's an extraordinary thing to see someone just based on wealth and heft because of business success. It's an extraordinary thing to watch them spearhead dismantling the U.S. government. That's exactly what's happening. I mean, I can go down the list of things that are already being dismantled. It's frightening. It's not just USAID. The Office of Consumer Protection, that's a huge, huge office. You know, when Wells Fargo was found out for those fake accounts, they were using many of their many of the people who were banking at Wells Fargo were just there with, they have basic checking accounts or savings accounts. They were opening up their accounts under their names additionally at Wells Fargo. So there were a bunch of accounts that they didn't even know existed. They were fake accounts. Yep. And the only watchdog group to handle that is being closed down by Elon Musk. Yeah. What
could go wrong, Mark?
Yeah, the Office of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, I think it's called, CFPB.
Let the games begin.
Yeah, and by the way, they're the same group that takes the medical debt that used to swamp you and ruin your credit score, takes that off of your credit score. You're wondering where that came from? CFPB did that. This is the agency that Elizabeth Warren put together. And Elizabeth Warren, no politician is perfect. I mean, there's a lot of, you can always find something. But I think there's a lot of virtue in the work that Elizabeth Warren did, and that was one of the most virtuous things she did. I mean, consumers and U.S. citizens need protections. So anyway, that was another thing that they did. And when it came to the overdraft limits, and credit card limits, there are limits on how much they can charge you. There weren't before CFPB stepped in. So he's already closing down the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And the reason he's doing it is because they're the watchdog for him, for his stuff. There is this constant thing that Trump does, and you'll hear it when we run some video, which is, what's in it for Elon? There's nothing in it for Elon. He's successful. He doesn't need anything, the money, doesn't need to. What are you talking about? He's taking apart the very agencies that are most vexing to him. He is taking apart the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau for a reason. He wants to launch his own currency. He wants to launch his own payment system. He has big dreams. The payment system would exist on X. He wants to turn X into a payment system-based platform. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they'd be the watchdog on that. They would protect consumers who are involved on that platform. He has to get all kinds of approval for that, but not anymore. I'm sure it's going to be fast-tracked, and now he's eliminated the very agency that would be the cop on the beat. And he even tweeted about this. He put it on his X platform, RIP, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So he labels something wasteful. Donald Trump doesn't care, and it's gone. It's outrageous. And Congress just looks the other way. So you really see a single-handed dismantling of U.S. government on the part of Elon Musk, as everybody just nods, and we learn he gains access to so very much. And so the last thing I'll say to you on this, but it won't be the very last thing, because I think this is the ongoing narrative that we have to follow, is that as Trump and Musk hold their sessions in the Oval Office, their joint pressers as Donald Trump signs executive orders, et cetera, which he's certainly within his right to do, there is a discussion of waste and abuse because they know that lands with the American public, and it should. But there's no math being shown. So something is labeled as wasteful. The bureaucracy. We all hate the bureaucracy. I mean, it's true. We all do hate the bureaucracy. But you can label an organization, USAID, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, whatever it might be, the Treasury Department, EPA, FAA. The government is big. Plenty of places to park that criticism of all that bureaucracy. And then you just eliminate 90% of the workforce. That's what they've done at USAID, and that's what they're going to do across the bureaus, and they may eliminate some completely. But as I mentioned before on this show, the way that you can fast-track all of that is to take their money and take their staff. You don't have to eliminate it. To eliminate an actual department, to eliminate many of these agencies would take an act of Congress, but you can effectively eliminate it. So I want you, as he does all of this, as he eliminates agency after agency, after he essentially defangs all of these protective mechanisms for consumers and for American citizens, I want you to note that they never show their math. They never show you the fraud they talk about. This fraud and abuse, they never talk about it. They talk about it in general terms. You'll hear it in just a few minutes. I'll play the video for you. Oh, we found so much fraud. It's unbelievable. Trump says, there's so much fraud, it would be easier to list the situations in which there wasn't fraud. Great. Show me. It sounds horrible. Show me. But there isn't any showing of the math. And so finally, I think this is getting out there. But this is a good point. Dave says only Congress can create departments. DOJ isn't even officially sanctioned department. That's, of course, very true. And, we made that point. In fact, I thought it was somewhat laughable that DOJ was this thing with Ramaswamy and Musk, because I thought DOJ isn't an official thing. They have no official power. They won't be able to do anything. They can make recommendations. Boy, was I wrong. And by the way, David K. Johnson agreed with me. And the reality is, if they play by the rules, they don't have any power, but they're not going to play by the rules. It is Elon's show, and he is deciding what things exist and will continue to exist, and what things exist and will go away. Breaking news by executive order: the Constitution is to be replaced by the Trump Doctrine, currently in draft form, but I'm sure it's going to be beautiful, says Luis. Yeah. How about that? Let me just look to see. And so in a couple of minutes, I have John Rothman coming on, and we will go over it. I'll play you a little bit of Musk in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. I found it particularly annoying that Musk said yesterday that everything would be transparent. Nothing they are doing is transparent except Musk's financial disclosure, says Karen Cooper. Of course, that's true. They say a lot of things that are absolutely not in evidence, and the transparency is one of those things. I will mention something to you now, but I'll probably mention it again before I run the video, and that I thought one of the richest things said was right at the beginning of Elon's run. And Musk, first of all, of course, the visual is, Trump sitting there and Musk stepping forward, and it's really Musk's show. But I thought that Musk would say, there is a bureaucracy here that has taken charge, and it's an unelected part of government. You have people and systems that are unelected that are fighting the other branches of government. And I'm saying that because this is a guy who's unelected, and he's taken a wrecking ball to government. So it's such a weird thing that he would make the point that the unelected parts of the U.S. government right now are seizing control. Dude, you are the highest profile unelected part of U.S. government right now. You're not even in an official capacity. You're just a bro with Donald Trump. You paid to get him elected. Congratulations. That might have not been the only thing you did to get him elected. And now you're calling out aspects of government that don't involve the voice of the voters, you don't represent the voice of the voters. The argument to smash the bureaucracy is just a cheap, lazy stunt, says Nevets Forever, to destroy the government and privatize it for the oligarchs. Yeah. Don't know. Hey, what's happened to Kim's, what you want to do on that, Albert, with Kim?
What's wrong? What do you mean with me?
Well, her, it's pixelated here. Maybe it's not pixelated anywhere else.
Oh,
you see how it's
looks
pixelated?
normal on my end. I don't know.
It does? Maybe that's just my computer.
Yeah, everything looks good on my end too.
Oh, okay, good. So this is the plastic in my head that's now beginning to take hold. Yeah,
that's all right. Put down the Coke in the plastic bottle.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? Stop it.
Musk should cut his government contracts, says Michelle Walton. Exactly. I mean, he's got so many federal government contracts to the point that I think his companies might not exist without those contracts. I mean, they're wildly supportive of his success. But again, no evidence about these U.S. agencies that he's shutting down. No evidence, and even in the New York Times, it's finally making it. Among Mr. Musk's claims, which he offered without providing evidence, was that some officials at the now gutted U.S. Agency for International Development have been taking kickbacks. He said that, quote, quite a few people in the bureaucracy somehow had, quote, managed to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, without explaining how he had made that assessment. He later claimed that some recipients of Social Security checks were as old as 150. Quote, we are actually trying to be as transparent as possible. So all of our actions are maximally transparent.
Well,
he continued,
if they're so transparent, where's the proof?
Exactly.
On that?
He continued, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization. You really don't? I mean, that's laughable. I mean, they're operating in deep secrecy, surprising federal employees, descending on those agencies at the last moment, gaining access to sensitive data systems. He is a special government employee? What the hell is that? He is not obligated, according to the White House, to even produce a financial disclosure statement. They've said, the White House is saying, he's in a special category and it will not be made public. So, again, we're going to bring on John Rothman here in just a moment, but at this special signing of executive orders, Donald Trump was doing his thing. And again, that's within his right as president to, execute these executive orders. Whether or not he knows what they are, doesn't matter. I mean, he's allowed. But as Musk steps forward and he talks about waste in government and closing down these government agencies, keep in mind the agencies he's closing down to an agency from FAA to CFPB to USAID to EPA, they all are agencies that were regulating Musk in a way that he didn't want to be regulated. And so they serve that end. What's in it for Elon? He gets the government off his back, and he does what he wants, and he reshapes American government into what will ultimately be an autocracy. Without question, it's already beginning to happen. So this is serious stuff in Washington, and we will watch it for you as long as we are able. They've already cowed major broadcast networks, as you know. ABC, CBS doesn't even report on much of this anymore. And NBC. They all, in one way or another, have begun to bend to the wishes of the new administration. They don't want to lose their licenses. And they have other regulatory actions that they're counting on the government to produce. And they don't want to be running afoul of the government. And eventually, I would say, this platform that we're on, they're going to be challenged. And maybe the algorithm will beat down shows like this one, even if we're allowed to continue. And I'm not even a flamethrower. You know me. I'm not like, there are shows that are way, way more intense than this. But I try to give you basic truths and tell you what's happening. We have great minds on this show, I think, coming through. And so I hope that we can continue here. I do think that there's an aspect to total domination that may threaten even the kind of free speech that we're used to in the U.S. It's all about power. Yesterday's press conference clearly demonstrated Elon has more power than Trump, says Amy B. Yes, that's true. And I mentioned this the other day. It's not just money. And it's not just his organization, it's Musk's. It's power. Absolutely true. I weep for my country, says Man from the West, 420. Check out that 420 reference, huh, Albert? What is that? Yeah. Where are my weed?
Where are my weed smokers at?
I'll tell you, there's one of them, right? I mean, that's the only way to get through it.
The Mark Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.